Salutations and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at Vergil's first Ecloga, covering lines 40 through 45, so it's going to be a pretty long one today. But first, last time in Vergil's Ecloga. And now that you're up to date, let's go ahead and get started. Here's our rubric, everything that we're looking for as we go through the text. And there we go. Quid faceram, neque serveto me ex ire licebat, nec tam praesentis alibi cognoscere divos. Hic illum vidi juveneam, me laboe, quot annis bis sinos, quae nostra dies altaria fumant. Hic mihi responsum primus dedit illi petenti. Pascite, ut ante boves puere submittite taurus. And there we go. And yet again, Tityrus is not really responding to that question that I can't say his name. That guy asked a while ago. But he is telling us why at last he went to Rome. Okay, now, quid faceram? Quid from qui quod. So here we have a question, and with faceram we've got the im ending, which is the classical first person singular. But then we also have the ere of the infinitive, which means, of course, we have an imperfect subjunctive. So first, singular, imperfect, active, and subjunctive. So since we've got quid right there and subjunctive there, but nothing else, we know that this is a deliberative question. So what might I do? And then working the imperfect end of that's a little bit more difficult. What was I doing? No. What began I to do? No. What used I do? No. So yeah, I think we're just going to have to keep it in the subjunctive mood in English as well. What might I do? Question. Neque, negative. Servitio, no. Ex ire, here we have another infinitive. That's the verb eo with the preposition ex stuck on the front. So to go out of. Present, active, and infinitive. Looking right next to that, we have licebat, normal imperfect form, and this is normally a third person word. It's an impersonal word, and you'll get that by the meaning. So that's third singular, another imperfect tense, active and indicative, and it means to allow, to grant. The dictionary doesn't list permit, but yeah, permit. I think there's a different word that Cassell's normally says permit for, but I don't remember what it is right now. So neither was it permitted, and then we would enter a form of indirect discourse. So we have, there we go. So we have servitio, and servitio is either dative or ablative singular neuter. But to exit, and it would be exit from, the X right there would want the place, the place relating to the infinitive to be ablative. So that's what we're going to go with for this. So it's an ablative of separation. And then me, it could also be ablative or accusative. And we need an accusative subject for this subordinate clause. So that is what me must be. Accusative singular. Neque, so that's just going to be emphatic. And, or indeed, it was not granted me to exit, to leave servitude, comma, nec, so neque with nec, that's going to be a neither nor, and it was not granted me, nor tam praesentis, is right there, and then nt right there tells us that we have a present active participle, so this is going to be genitive singular because the is, third declension after all, and probably masculine, since titterus is masculine. Okay, alibi cognoscere. Here we have another present active infinitive. And divos. So, no main verb, which means we're assuming licebat again. Nor was it permitted for me, cognoscere, to know, and then we need a direct object. Praesentis and alibi don't work, but divos does at that os right there, an accusative plural. And that one means the divines. So I don't know what titterus means by it was not permitted for me to see the divines, to know the divines, the divinities. The commentary I don't remember having it say anything about that. So your guess is probably better than mine in that respect. Shaking camera. Sorry. So now we just need to figure out what we're doing with all of this. Tom can mean so or so far. And I think in the context of what's to follow, so far makes a little bit more sense. Nor so far up to that point did it permit me to know. I'm going to put this in at the end. The divines. And then our genitive of praesentis and then alibi is also a genitive. Is alibus, aliba, alibum. So that I right there is either nominative plural, which we don't want, or it is genitive singular, which would match with praesentis. So these two go together. And alibi means else. No, it's not an adjective. What's wrong with my brain? It's too early in the morning. Sorry about that. So that I did make me, of course, think that it's genitive. But no, alibi is a adverb, and I think got ibi right there, but I don't know what the al's doing. Well, maybe al from alias, because it means elsewhere or otherwise. So an adverb, I think it goes with praesentis, and praesentis being genitive, this could be a highly abbreviated genitive absolute. Nor so far, with me being present elsewhere, was it permitting me to know divos. I think that's what we've got going on there. EDV, or wow, I was, present tense, therefore contemporary with licebat. I was present elsewhere. Period. So he's in a tight spot. Galatia's really holding him down. And then we read, hic illum vidi. There is our verb from wadi wiki, or wici. That's a first person singular perfect tense, present, active, and indicative. I saw. What did I see? Well, we've got hic illum and euenium. Those two clearly are our accusative subjects, or not subjects, accusative objects. Hic, however, we don't need because it looks like it's a nominative, so then this must be yet another adverb from hic, hink, and hook. Hic, here, hink. What does hink mean? From here, and then hook, to here. Yeah. So I think adverb there, I saw. Illum juvenem. So we've got young man right there. That young man. And who is that young man? Well, here we have Octavian again. So then this is dating the story to something like the 40s BC. I forget the exact, like maybe 46 BC is around the time that the land seizures were going on. And so what Tityrus is telling us in that is he goes to Rome, and it's not going to be himself going to Rome, by himself going to Rome, since he's a slave. Instead, it's going to be his master going to Rome, and Tityrus and others would be following him. Then his master is going to come before Octavian and petition not to have his land taken, which we'll probably see later on. So, around the 40s BC. All right, my little boy. Here we have our vocative singular masculine again. Quote anis Bisenos quae nostra dies altaria fumant. There is our verb at last in T. So we want to find a plural subject after we identify this further. Third plural, and then this is fumo fumare, I think. So it's just present, active, and indicative, and it means to smoke, to steam, to fume, be odorous. There's that. Now looking back, quote doesn't work. Anis is the wrong form. Anis, ani. So no. Bis, no. Aha. Here we come to nostra, dies, and altaria. Altaria is neuter, and dies is feminine. So either of these could be our subject. Then we have to ask, well, which one makes more sense to fume? Does it make more sense for a day to fume altars, or high altars to fume days? Yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty strange thing right there. So, since day could be an accusative plural, it might be that it's, what is it? Duration of time and extent of space are always an accusative case. If it's being taken temporally, then it would be 4 days our high altars fumed. Yeah, I think that makes actually some sense right there. So I'm going to say probably nominative, maybe accusative, plural and neuter, and accusative, plural, feminine. Time. All right, now we come back to this. Quote means how many, as many, so many. Then anis is, of course, years in the dative, or ablative, plural, and masculine. Anum, anos, ani. Now I can't remember the gender of year. Man, that is embarrassing. Bisenos doesn't really help us right there. Senos looks like it's masculine, but that doesn't really tell us about anos. Yeah, we'll just leave that blank. Bis means twice, and then senos means 6 each. And now I don't remember if that itself declines, but these two together, it means twice 6, or 12 at a time. But I'm going to do twice 6 at a time. And then koi, again, this could be kui, the dative, or it could be quo, the ablative. And which makes more sense? This is koi is going to be referring to the euenium. Sorry, the euenum, not euenium. And so that we would say, with whom our high altars fume, or for whom our high altars fume. And I think for whom makes most sense. So, let's say C-U-I, dative singular. For whom? Okay, and then quote and anis. And it doesn't make sense for anis to be dative because it's going to be time here again. So we've got ablative. And this would be time within which or time when. And with quote how many, I'm going to say, I think the idea would be how many years, question mark, twice 6 at a time. So for 12 years. And then I think this would just be time when. How many years, the time when, because it's not duration of years, because then we would want accusative. For how many years? Because the ablative. Insert a question mark there. Twice 6 at a time, for whom our high alters fume for days. Okay, now we move on to the next one. Hic here could be that adverb again. We had mihi responsum primus dedit. There is our verb at last. Do dare dedi with this reduplication here borrowed from Greek. We know we have a perfect tense. That's the third singular, active, and indicative. So he gave, who specifically? He, ille, nominative singular masculine, pointing back to euenem again, so Octavian. So that one gave, we need a direct object, which we find here with responsum, accusative, singular, and neuter, because this is a substantive. So that one gave a response. Mihi is dative, so that works as our indirect object. Hic, since we already have ille, it doesn't make sense to be from hic, haec, hoc, so yes, this must be an adverb again. There. That one gave to me a response, and then we just have primus and petenti. Primus could be referring to ille. That first one, and Vergil might intend us to understand that the first citizen of Rome, though at the time Octavius wasn't the first citizen, he wouldn't be declared that for a bit yet. I think, that happens around the time, or just after the time that he and Antony have falling out. So the other option, which the commentary suggests, is that primus is acting kind of as an adverb, at long last meaning, or right at the start. So that he's addressing their case, if that's the meaning, very quickly. All right, then the last thing we need to figure out, so I'm going to go with the commentary. Last thing to figure out is petenti. Got nt right there of the present active participle. I would be the dative again. So that would be modifying mihi. So dative, singular, masculine, present, active, participle. So then this means altogether there at the start, right at the start, sorry. That man gave a response, and the indication there would be a favorable response to me, the petition. Probably misspelled. All right. And then here we get to read what he says Octavian actually said. Pascite. So we have our TE ending right there off of Pasco. Or it's not going to be Pascor. Then we would expect Pascemini, because that would be the plural deponent imperative. Now we find the second person plural present active imperative. And this means to feed, to pasture. Pasture, ut, ante. We don't have a verb in here, so when ut stands alone without a verb, or when ut goes with an indicative verb, we know it's just translated just or just as. And what are we could take it, I suppose, with this. And this is imperative, so just as works again. It only means in order that or so that when it's with the subjunctive. As, and then ante, also without an object. Now, it could be taking boes as an object, but that doesn't make much sense. Before your cows. So now, ante here is the adverbial use, as before, just meaning time instead of place. Boes, es right there is going to be an accusative plural. Boes. I don't remember if this is a feminine third, so I'm going to just treat it as a masculine generic. Cattle. Cows. Pueri. Ooh. Why is pueri in the nominative? I don't know. Could be that the pueri are the ones he's talking to. Because it doesn't make sense otherwise that I could see. So, nominative, singular. No, singular. Plural, masculine. Oh. Boys. Submittite, here we have te, so that's going to be another present active imperative, no need to parse it again. And then tauros with os right there, accusative, plural, and masculine. And this means bowls. So then that makes me want to think that boes might be feminine. And then cows is better right there. And submittite means lower, to raise, to rear. So I think I'm going to go with the rear. So, to send under, rear, and with an implied, your bowls, period, end quote. And so there we have that. Now, quick bit of talking. Here we see in this line, and this one right here, something that was going on at the time, the start, really, of emperor worship in Rome, and then Augustus would have been building on that to build loyalty to him. So this caused some serious issues pretty soon thereafter, especially during the reign of Nero and the following emperors, when the emperors would demand sacrifices to themselves as gods, sometimes to the exclusion of, more often I think, just over and above the other sacrifices to all the other deities that the Romans had picked up. And they spread it all across the empire. And of course the Jews objected, and the Romans, constantly being irritated with the Jews, acquiesced to their demands and allowed the Jews to be the one exception. So then when the Christians come along and the Christians are told, sacrifice to the emperors, burn incense to them, this is contrary to their beliefs, and they say nope, and then that's an executable offense. But right here we see nostra altaria fumant quae juvenem, that the emperor worship is already happening, is already being built up by Augustus, and in this case through Vergil. All right, thank you very much for joining me. I hope taking a look at this has been helpful for you, and I hope that you have a very good life. Ole.
What? You're still awake? Why are you still here then? You should be reading a book. Or if not reading, you should watch one of these other videos. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. See you next week.